to Story Time with Mr. Burrows. Of course, I'm Mr. Burrows. Thank you. In today's story, we're going to talk about these keys that are in between the other keys, these black keys. You always wonder what those are. If you haven't, if you haven't figured it out, they're called sharps and flats. And so, over the years, I've kind of had a little story I tell my students, and finally got to putting it to rhyme. So we'll see how the story goes today. It's called Accidentals Happen. Here we go. Once upon a time in the land of music. Accidentals Happen by Spencer Burrows. It was time again when all the notes came to try their best at the annual Musicland Games. "Come around and line up," said Mrs. G. "To start off the games we sing Do, Re, Mi." Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Whole note, half quarter, and eighth note did grin as they pictured themselves claiming the win. There won't be just one winner," Mrs. Clef said with a gleam. "In order to win, you must work as a team." "That's right, eighth, quarter, half note, and whole. You must plot together to reach your first goal. The challenge today will be a grand measured race. Do you see the bar lines I've set in place? The goal is, of course, to get to the end. To do this, you will have to call on your friends," she said. "You must add the beats of notes and rests to unlock each and every door. But beware, you will lose the test if your total beats add up to more than 4. And if the number of beats measure up to less, I will send you on your way. Use your math and rhythmness to complete this measured game." And with a 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, Mr. F. Clef blew the Musicland horn. Off to the measures went the notes in their rests. To unlock the first door, they added their best. Whole note and whole rest got the first 2, since they both equal 4 beats, as everyone knew. But then half note tried, but needed some friends. She only had 2 beats, and that wouldn't get her to the end. She used 2 quarter notes that each had 1 beat. 2 plus 2 is 4. Isn't that neat? They added up rhythms to number 4 for each bar. Faster and faster, they made it so far. The notes, rests, and rhythms were flying right by, and then all of a sudden fell out of the sky. A bird? A plane? The point was quite moot. The notes had been pelted with musical fruit. Up until now, the house line and spaces were the only true notes. There were no other places. But when one of the notes was bonked on the head, Mrs. G. Clef had feared that it was dead. But to her surprise, there were no broken bones. Only result was an in-between tone. The games had to pause for an investigation into why the fruit fell and lowered the intonation. So Mr. F. Clef climbed up the hilla, only to find an angry gorilla.
"Mr. Gorilla,
Why did you throw the flat fruits on us? What seems to be the problem? What's all the fuss? Said Mr. F. Clef.
I threw the flat fruits down on their heads, hoping that those loud notes would go back to bed. You see, the noise from the games and your jubilation disrupts my peace and causes me frustration. I was here first up on this old cliff before you moved in and caused this whole tiff. You built Music Land right in my way without even asking if it was okay. That's why I'm angry and flat fruit doth fly. If you're gonna interrupt, then so will I.
Oh no, Mr. Gorilla, it seems we've done wrong and left you straight out of our Music Land song, said Mr. F. We can't change the past, but we can start anew by offering to be good friends with a gorilla like you. Please join the fun as our honored guest, and from this point on, we'll treat you the best. One last request. Please bring flute. One last request. Please bring flat fruits around, because when they bonked heads, it created new sounds. From here on out, we will name lowered notes flats to help us remember we must always ask, said Mr. F. Even though these new notes were not really meant, we can rejoice in our happy flat accident. When the notes needed help from going down flat, they used sharps from the garden to bring them right back. And just like the flat fruits, when the sharps came to poke, it helped them to find some more in-between notes. These ones were higher, so sharp they were named, and the world of music was never the same. The Music Land games ended up even better because of the flats and the sharps and everyone working together. And there it is. Well, I hope you had a little fun with that story. And remember, sharp means up and flat means down. Remember, the notes get bonked on the head and get pushed down. And the sharp plants from the garden help them go back up. For example, if I'm on the note D and I go up to this black key here, that'd be D sharp. It's a little bit higher, got poked up. If I'm on D and I go down just a half a step to this black key here, that's going to be D flat because D got bonked on the head and now it's found a new in-between note. We do call them accidentals occasionally. And you also got to see that in the end, that everybody worked together to figure out a problem. And isn't it always better together? Having fun, playing games is better when you have friends to do it with. And all the notes and the sharps and the flats and the gorilla got together and figured it all out. I hope you guys can figure your day out and we can be better together very soon. Bye for now. Until next time, we'll see you at story time with Mr. Burrows.